let's see if we're back. It says we're live.
See? Yeah.
It says I'm live.
I'm live. Live.
Yeah, I see us now.
Yep, now we're back.
Fun times.
Oh, it's like there's a little delay, but all right. So I'm gonna. So I am going to.
Pizza.
Yeah. Let's do intermission. Interact. And let's see. We went to intermission at 8 minutes, so that means we got about 7 minutes left. Let's do that. Transition over.
Tonight, I'll be eating a pork banh mi with extra jalapenos. Thanks, baby. Yeah, we...
And I'm going to get us over to 7 minutes. That'll be close enough.
Very cool.
Wish I knew what happened, man.
Yeah, I haven't shown us on here in a hot minute. Well, we do have 4 viewers now, which means not just me is here. Unless that's us, of course. That could just be, but still. Moderator. Pink. I'll be pink. I click.
Stream, I've got the chat comments going there too.
Oh, there we go. Hi. I don't know if I can even hear. Neat. Now, Sean, you know you don't live near a bed. Also, don't throw it into the water. You should send it to me because all I have is this thing and you can get a new computer. Boom. I solved your problem.
I appreciate it. I got a good computer too.
I don't. So, who knows? Technology is strange.
Not that I do it for a living or anything.
It's fine. There's all I know is that text is weird. Doesn't always have a clear reason for why it didn't work.
Thanks, Thort. Appreciate it.
In 5 seconds, you can skip this ad or go to Artlist and find the perfect song for your video.
Skip this ad.
There were developments while we were gone.
So can you hear the music background when this is countdown is playing full stream? Just out of curiosity, because it shows it for me as playing. So I'm not for sure if it's.
Give me a second. Literally all of the audio on my computer is turned down. Let me.
Awesome. Thanks, Lee.
Look at that. That's good. I can hear it, sort of.
Appreciate that.
You gotta charge one of the
Tell
AirPods.
the people that update their D&D Beyond character sheets, because when you see the D&D Beyond layover, you're the only one that shows missing hit points. I don't think everybody else got back up today.
I got up.
Whatever.
I think they did. They didn't take nearly as much damage as I did.
This is not a J stream. We don't have free.
I took literally 70% of my hit point damage. Like, I wasn't down to like our home rule low or whatever, where I was at critical, but I was definitely.
Oh, you got time. As soon as they hit fifth level, we'll have fireball.
Pretty cool. Faster. Attack rolls. Use. Now. Oh, and a second level I do could keep all the cool shit that comes with the. Ah!
I want to point out just how perfectly timed that was to the video I was watching, because the moment he hit play on that, the dude, all of his supporters.
Fun. That's a good
like,
time.
The second.
Just so you know, when you were streaming before, as your
you
live
can hear
feed
me
went
now,
down,
right?
the screen was shattered.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yep. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me now. Yeah,
Yep.
I have a little button on the side of my headphones that I got to make sure that I hit that as well. So I don't want to talk over the music when it's playing the intro and stuff like that. So I muted myself. So, all right. So welcome back everybody to the channel with the never-ending technical issues. I am an IT guy, so I know how to fix things like that. I just restarted everything, and lo and behold, it works.
Who'da thunk it?
Have you turned it on and off yet? Yes, I have. It still sucks. So, all right. So back to where we were. You guys have just retrieved a scroll of Moonbeam from Henriette's library. You have a sword that is moon-touched, and it has a symbol on it that Amek has defined as the symbol, a moon-like symbol that refers to an old order called the Order of the Malison Moon. Malison Moon means cursed moon in some languages, and so you guys have gathered these items. It is midday, perhaps noonish, give or take a few minutes or so, and you find yourself in the middle of a town preparing for tonight's festival to Vergadane, the dwarven god of mercantilism, but he's the kind of deity that you know doesn't care if the shadier side of business. So he's more of one of those sort of chaotic neutral type of dudes. But he he holds big festivals, and so the big festival starts tonight with the rising of the full moon, as Luna becomes full tonight in her trek across the sky, the height of the feast, and everybody will be tossing coins into the platter for the festivities, so the church can then take that money, invest it, and hopefully make more money for the community. So, what are we doing? It's probably about 5 or 6 hours till sundown.
Okay.
What do we intend to do?
Lunch first, and then we go to the general store.
Okay.
Truth.
So, you guys make your way over, have yourself a little lunch. Everybody deduct 2 silver pieces. That's going to eat. Go ahead and take the 2 silver pieces off of your coinage. But yeah, it takes maybe an hour of time. So at 1 o'clock, you guys begin to head over to one of the 2 stores. Now there are 2 stores here in town. Let me zoom out just a little bit so I can get the whole thing on the map. The first is Galliana's Goods. She is your typical trading post with your normal goods and services, etc. And then across the street is Engel's Koster. He is one that provides mostly stuff to the farms and stuff like that. So you may find things like rakes, shovels, pickaxes, things like that. But he also dabbles in armor and weaponry. So you would be able to find some of his goods and services over there. So which you said general store, so I'm assuming that you're going to Galliana's. But
yeah, that was
I don't know for sure. Okay, so
for my plan.
Okay. So as you walk in, you step into it's your typical large open sort of think of it. I liken it to a Cracker Barrel. As you kind of walk in there, and they've got goods and stuff stacked on various shelves and around the sides, as well as they've got tables and stuff in the center that have a bunch of things on it, cloth and whatnot. Galliana herself is a human female. She's probably in her early 50s. You could tell that she at one time had long blonde hair. Now it's sort of streaked in gray, probably mostly gray. And she has, her clothes though are very prim and proper, sort of up to the neck collar with a slight little ruffled flare, button-down blouse with a nice long skirt that reaches just not to the floor, but you can tell she's got hard-soled shoes underneath, because as she walks across the wood floor, she sort of clip-clops a little bit as she goes. She walks over to greet you as you first walk in, and in the background you can see there are other customers as well, sort of shopping on the shelves and sort of going through and whatnot. And as she steps in, she goes, "Oh, you are the ones that are seeking out the answer to all these horrid murders. Please tell me.
Yeah, we talked a
Have
little.
you found anything? I really worry for my children."
We're working on it. We do need some stuff, though.
Oh, of course. So pardon me. I get very nervous when things have been going on around here, and nobody tells us.
It's all
anything,
good.
but the mayor is absolutely worthless. Did you know? I think he was having an affair
Ooh.
with Silent. Can you believe that? I think. Well, not now, but from what I hear is that way before she died, that like a few years ago, that he and her.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I don't even think his wife, but I'm not one to spread rumors or anything, you understand, but that's just what
No,
I
you
heard.
wouldn't do that.
So, but
Yeah.
if anybody asks, you didn't hear it from me, but I'm just
Didn't hear it
saying
from
that-
you.
Yes, that is correct.
Who was his wife?
What's that?
Who was his wife?
What do you mean his wife? The mayor's wife?
Who was the mayor's wife?
Yeah, who's the mayor's wife?
Oh, you haven't.
We haven't met her.
No,
Sorry.
no,
Yeah,
you've never
I don't
met
think
the
so.
mayor's wife, no.
Yes, that's asking.
And I tell you, if she ever
Good thing
finds
I haven't
out-
told her.
If she ever finds out, she's gonna beat him with a frying pan. I swear. I'll sell her the iron cast one myself if she wants me to. So, I'm sorry. What is it that you wanted?
Do you have a healer's kit?
As
A healer's
we
kit.
do. Well, now,
Cool.
typically we get restocked on a weekly supply run that comes up from Traff. So every star day, like clockwork, Traff sends us things that we order, and sometimes they send us things that we don't. But you are just in luck, because I happen to have 5 healer's kits on hand right now. But that's all I have. So, but if you need more, I can order you more. But it'll take. Well, they come in on star day, and then we can make the order, and then it goes back, and then the following star day they'll be able to bring it up to you. But yeah, once a week we get a good supply of stock. So if there's anything you need ever that I don't have, you just let me know, and we can just place the order, because I'm sure Traff has it. Traff is a huge. Have you ever been to Traff? It is this most amazing place. It's like large and it has walls, and they got boats that come in and off the quag.
How much are those healer kits, by the way?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that would be 5 gold pieces per.
5 gold pieces per. I will take one for now, if that's cool.
Absolutely.
Would you like a second one there, Hyacinth?
I only have 13 gold, so if you want a second one,
I will grab a second one for you if you desire it. I got the gold.
I do desire it.
So
Cool.
you're gonna take 2?
Oops, I added 5. We're moved 10. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll take 2. I'll
she-
take 5 gold for
As
mine,
she
and she
leads
can
you
take.
over to where the goods are, and you can see neatly stacked. There are 5
Oh, boxes.
like leather bags that contain all of the stuff in a healer's kit, wraps and ointments
Love
and
to.
salves and stuff like that. So you take 2 of them off the shelf, and there are 3, and they actually look
Nope.
to be in good condition. It doesn't look like they're anything that's a sort of like backwoods country folk would put together, but they're relatively good quality, it appears.
No worries. I'm going to add those. I don't.
So is that
think
all
there
you
was
gonna do,
anything-
dear? Are you sure? Do you need me to show you how to use this? Because there's.
No, I got it. I'm pretty good at this.
Are you now? So
You don't sell the maps. That's the guy across the way, right? The documents.
Oh no, Dieter. Yeah. So yes, if you
Yeah,
go across
Dieter.
to Dieter, yeah. So Dieter's documents. I'm sure that he does.
I just really like maps.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
You
but
still
no.
need a rope? Oh, he had to leave. That's right.
He had to leave.
He said he was gonna buy a rope though, didn't he?
Yeah, he said he was gonna
Yeah.
just get a new one.
Yeah, might want.
Hey, you got
Go-
rope?
Oh, absolutely. We have heaps and heaps. So farmers need
Yeah.
the rope, And the
We'll get like
miners,
50
dwarves,
feet of rope
the
then.
dwarves, they come and they take my whole stock.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you are so lucky
That's
that
a lot
you
of
have
rope.
gotten them before. Yeah, because they have like these things with rope that go down into the mine. Have you ever been to the the iron boot
No.
mine that's just outside? They just
No, but I do
reopened
need
it.
the rope.
Well, of course, dear, over here. Why didn't you just say so? As she sort of leads you
No worries. How
across
much
the
is
floor.
50 feet of rope? Like hemp rope.
Oh, it'd be 1 gold piece for each length of 50 feet if you wish.
Okay, so 1 gold it is. We will figure that out.
Okay. Yeah, you can
Here.
let him know, or Corvus know when he gets back.
Yeah. We'll figure it. We'll let him know. He'll be great. We'll keep a hold of his rope.
Okay.
Did he not have a rope, or did he lose his rope?
Yeah, you
burned.
were here for that.
Yes.
We all almost died in a fire, but luckily we
Hopefully
got out and
hopefully we have it on video so you can watch the opening of the
Okay.
the thing. Is you guys, just as a really quick, just as a back story, you guys at the end of last session, you guys found Oswald dead in this old abandoned barn. And so you were investigating the barn, and somebody closed the doors of the barn and put a lock on the outside of it. So, and then set the outside on fire, and it erupted to the inside because there's a bunch of hay and stuff and whatnot. And you guys went upstairs to try to get out, and found that the upstairs was locked from the inside because whoever owned the place left it locked from the inside. So, after much chagrin of hacking and coughing up your lungs and getting flames of fire upon you, Nilo managed to burst through the upper doors that allowed you guys to escape, and rather than jump down, Corvus decided that he would rather just quickly tie off a rope and shimmy down the rope.
and I shimmy down it.
And Hyacinth shimmied as well. She more parkoured than shimmied, but still.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I
unfortunately
fell out.
lost in the fire.
I almost fell out. Hyacinth caught me, and I dropped the rest of the way and rolled a nat 1 in a tuck and roll.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So.
And the spill.
Yep.
Oh, while we're here, who owned that barn that burned down? Do you know?
Ooh, I'm sure I don't know, but I imagine that town hall would have records of all that stuff.
Oh, yeah? So it's been kind of
yes, if you talk to Vicky has been there for. She's probably been in charge of the town hall records probably a good 2 years now. Yeah, ever since town really started coming back, because for a while there, you know, the town itself was pretty much a ghost town, because of the fire and everything that was going on. But now, with the mines opening back up, the Iron Boot mine, remember I told you about the Iron Boot mine?
You did tell me about that.
They discovered another vein of copper, you know, so now they're building up the town. And over there, they got the dwarves that run the mining show and stuff, and they came all the way from Trap to set up their operations. The mining consortium, they got themselves their own here in Christchurch. So yeah, Christchurch Minerals. You go over there, and they could tell you all about the mine if you want to go out to the mine and check out their operations, because they're
probably not
people to work in the mines and stuff. You know. So
we do have murders to solve.
You seem to know a lot.
I'm sorry. It's so nice to have new folk in town. You just don't get a chance to talk to folks too much anymore, you know.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
A little bit more, actually. You seem to know a lot. Was anybody?
Really
that's why I asked you.
Is there? Do you know if anybody was a bit disgruntled about the dwarves coming back and the village picking back up again?
Disgruntled, you say? No. People are happy now that the war's over and stuff, and the mines are opening back up, and people are starting to live their lives again. Yeah, I don't think anybody would be sore or angry about something like that. Don't you think so?
Some folks are stuck in their ways. It was a good question to ask. Well, thank you.
Well, there anything for you that I can get for you? You know, we got stocks of everything, but like I said, these dwarves, they clean me out like a plague of locusts sometimes. So you best get here before Star Day, or right after Star Day, really, because after a few days they come in and they start taking everything off the shelves, and next thing you know, I got nothing to sell nobody.
You got another belt by any chance?
Oh, I have belts, absolutely, sure. What kind of belt? You want like a leather belt, a nice brown
leather
belt?
Just a simple strip of leather I can wrap around me.
Sure, I could get you one of those. And she takes you over to some of the clothing areas and stuff like that, where you see they've got you know, not really fine clothing, but I guess fine clothing for around here. That's their sort of wool and heavy cotton and stuff like that to kind of help ward off some of the cold weather and stuff like that. They got the heavy cloaks and they got the fur gloves and they got all the other stuff. But yeah, as far as a belt goes, she says it'll cost you 1 silver piece to make a belt. And if you want something super fancy and really good, you could probably go over to the leather worker because he does amazing work with some of the stuff he has. And if you say that I sent you over there, good old Darwin will probably give you a discount, because we sort of send business back and forth like that. Because with the town growing and stuff, we want to make sure everybody gets a good slice of the pie for their family, So if you tell him that I say, oh, Galeana sent you over there, he might even get you a nice discount. For sure, and he makes some really good stuff, but he doesn't work much with metal, so he can make it the leather stuff. But if you need the metal stuff, probably want to go across the street to Angle, because Angle works good with metal, because he's always making things for the farmers, like the hoes and the rakes and the things like that for planting seeds and stuff like that. So he's a good fella. So he could probably do the metal to a belt though. But if you want just a good old plain fashioned belt, you just come right here to Galeana's and we'll make sure we take good care of you. Okay?
No problem. She's gonna grab the belt and pass over the coin.
Okay.
And thank you for your time.
Oh, you guys come back to the store anytime, Well, we'd be more than happy to treat you to it. And just remember, every Star Day, stuff comes in, so you best get here if you're going to be here and buy the stuff while it's here, because those dwarves are like locusts,
We'll keep that in mind. Have yourself a good day.
I mean, yeah, it's fine.
Yes,
never mind. Let's go.
Are you sure?
No, it's fine.
There's nothing else you want. Okay. And
I'm
as
good.
she sort of waves goodbye, you hear her turning around and start yelling at the kids. Hi, Rick, you go out and get this, and Henriette, you go out, and Rebecca, you go do this. So she sort of completely flips around and forgets that you're there and goes back to business, dealing with other customers and her kids that are working the store with her. You see that she does apparently have a son and a daughter. The boy being a bit older, probably in his teens. The daughter, preteen. In that age, maybe 8, 10 years old, 11 years old, somewhere in there, based on what you can see. They both resemble a mom a lot, but you don't see a man, so you don't see like husband around anywhere. So it's kind of interesting. But anyway, you guys find yourselves back outside of Galeana's Goods, 12:30ish. Well, sorry, 1:30ish, give or take. You guys been in there maybe half an hour, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever. Sort of browsing around. So where to next?
Want
to hit the town hall or the document place because there's some information we were looking for.
Where was Vicky at again?
Vicky
was in the town hall.
She's the record keeper in the town hall.
She's the record keeper at town hall.
In regards to
I do want to know who owned the barn.
I don't think it was a target at the barn specifically.
Yeah.
I think that was more targeted at us.
Yeah, I know it wasn't a target at... I know it was a target at us, but I want to know why someone had access, why would they lock the top part of the barn if they knew there was a man living in it? Why was the man allowed to live in it so long? I have questions. Also, this man's trying to make a winery. He needs land. Who's he gonna get land from? I just have questions.
Saul said that he couldn't afford a room at the inn.
Yeah. How does he expect to get,
unless he doesn't have coins specifically. He might have property or other investments that he can trade instead.
Why isn't he living there?
Well, if he's traveling this way, and his land is in another city, that explains why he wouldn't be living anywhere else here. And
how long ago did Thames get...
What's that now? You said you...
Sorry, can you repeat? Sorry, can you repeat that?
Me? Or him?
No, I thought...
Can you repeat?
No, I
Can you repeat all that? My AirPods...
Oh, okay. I'm like, well, you see, if he's living in another city, right, he wouldn't actually have a home here. And there's a good possibility that...
He's been here a week.
Well, yeah. And there's a good possibility that perhaps he doesn't intend to buy a land with coin, but perhaps investments that he already has in other places. So he wouldn't actually need the coin for that. Maybe he wants to save the coin for simple food rather than.
All I'm saying is that the man wants some land, and this place is a frozen wasteland, except for one particular man, who I might add is dead, and his daughter missing.
If I recall correctly, some of the foods used to make wine grow really well in cold areas.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're talking about, Sean. About cats.
Sorry, I was talking about
Mama cat.
She came. Remember, I said Mama cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when I said
right.
that?
Yeah. I remember about that.
My wife walked in and said the same thing. It's like, oh my god. I said, yeah, I know. I'm living in it.
Mm-hmm. I've been there before.
Anyway, it's just. I'm just saying I'm looking for the pattern here. Okay, I'm looking for. Why was Thames was obviously murdered because he was looking into it. What's her name was murdered. Not really sure why. I don't know why the locksmith lady was murdered.
Oswald was murdered.
Oswald was then murdered after the locksmith lady.
Right.
I can see why he'd get murdered. He was awful.
That's not a reason.
lesser person would do so for sure.
Hyacinth, you gotta remember, the only folks here who would actually want to kill Oswald would be us.
I mean, no one else seems to like him that much.
No one else likes him, but he hasn't given anybody else a reason.
True. But yeah, so why is he dead? And I know why we almost died, because we are also looking into the thing. So there are two deaths that I don't quite understand, and I'm trying to find a pattern here. And the one lady worked with the church, which makes sense. The Church of Ergadane. The other dude was going to be a merchant at this festival thing, I think? Maybe?
Which one?
I don't know. I don't remember his name. He was the first dude.
The first one?
Yeah. Gilly. Gilly was, murdered. He's also in connection to this festival. Oswald, I guess, being what... I just don't...
Silas has no value in being murdered, and from the looks of it, there was no break in. Whoever murdered Silas, she openly welcomed into her own home.
Yeah. So, but just because somebody has motive to murder doesn't mean that the person being murdered knows there's a motive to murder. No one thinks they should be murdered. So when a friend or when a person in a small town who you know comes in, you're probably not going to be like, "Oh, hey, small town person, how's life?" I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. And also, I just find the man in the barn.
If we, I'm not doubting it there.
But I also find the people at the Church of Ergadane sus. So I already decided to rule out Henrietta again because I was just like, no, she's way too old. But I just wonder.
Nothing.
I should have asked her.
We're all of confirmation that this is probably a lycanthrope at this point. Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely a one. I've thought it was a werewolf for a long. It's fine. We're not gonna worry about that.
I'm convinced that Gilly's youngest. I'm gonna check around me real quick. Is there anybody listening to us as we're walking around? Before I go any further,
here. Yeah, I will also look wait, no, you did pretty well.
Yeah, so looking around, people seem to be absorbed in their own sort of little groups together, and you don't see anybody.
And I'm not talking this loud in game. I just don't. If I whisper, you won't hear me in my AirPod. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly shouting this to the streets.
Right,
just saying.
Based off of what you said.
So you see the crowds of people are, moving around town as normal business goes on. People shopping and doing their day-to-day sort of stuff. But people are sort of putting themselves or grouping themselves together in the groups of whatever they're doing, right? So it's not like people are moving up and down the street. They're still sort of huddled together themselves a little bit because obviously there's an undertone of unease in town for everything that's been going on, even with the festival. But the festival itself appears to have put at least a little bright spot on people's moods.
All right. So I'm going to keep going with saying, and I'm now, after what you said about Oswald's body, I am convinced that Gilly's younger daughter is, in fact, one herself.
I just... don't know.
Gilly wasn't dead. I would assume that was one too. It was confirmed that her older sister was killed. Right, they buried her body and everything. The sister was killed, not Missy. Correct.
Correct. The story goes that they were attacked by a pack of wolves. The daughter died. Erin, the older sister, survived the attack.
But the older sister was chased into the woods by dog Prince.
Well, not to say.
Like, we followed the pair of prints together, and she was clearly like trying to get at the silver arrowhead in that box and didn't have enough time. Because whatever it was, yeah. So because she didn't get into the box. Right. I know because I have the thing now. So.
So. Actually,
it's also, if she was also a werewolf herself, why then would she why then would she not transform and fight?
Perhaps it was
werewolf
after that struggle.
I mean, maybe, but then why would she come back to town and kill the locksmith or I mean, I get Oswald. I don't like him, but that's not the point. There's just because I don't like Oswald does not mean that there was grounds for murder.
Actually, hold on. I got
then to murder us.
Sean.
We didn't do anything.
According to the book we read, do the lycanthropes lose? Is it easy for the lycanthropes to lose their sense of self when they transform, or do they maintain perfect mentality during the transformation?
So go ahead and give me an intelligence check with advantage.
Because it's with lycanthropes, and we are, we get fun.
So from what little you gathered from the knowledge from the tome you guys just read, powerful lycanthropes are aware and they can control their changing back and forth. New lycanthropes, while they have some semblance of knowing who they are, they can't really control the change as well, right? So it takes a long time for them to get it under control. However, that said, they still have sort of that beast mentality where, feast, protect myself.
Anyone's food, etc. Okay.
Why wouldn't they have eaten the body? They are a new lycanthrope. Why wouldn't they have eaten the body? Also, her father would have been in danger this entire year.
Give me an intelligence check.
I'm not good, though.
I know you're not, but I'm going to ask you to give me one anyway.
Cool. Can I get advantage because it's the lycanthropy?
Yes. Well,
cool.
No, not really, but still, it doesn't matter. So, a 10
I got a 13.
A 10 would have been fine.
Cool.
So, you do recall that the first series of bodies were all with these large claws. Oswald's was with a smaller set of claws.
Yeah.
So.
But none of these most recent bodies were eaten.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is though you guys, where you were talking about the young one, young wolf or whatever, new lycanthrope. Why didn't they?
Or
eat?
it's just small.
Or just small. Why didn't they eat? And the possibility is they were the first few weren't from the new or a new lycanthrope. Maybe it was an older lycanthrope because you found two sets of tracks now. Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, they both might not be new lycanthropes. What's his name's been in this town a whole year.
Right.
What's her name? How long ago was the attack on the youngest daughter and her?
About a little over a year ago.
It was a little over a year ago. So if she was turned into a lycanthrope a little over a year ago, she had plenty of time to maul her father to death.
Right.
And all of the animals that live on that farm, and she didn't do that.
Right.
So either he kept her, he knew and kept her locked up, or or she's not a lycanthrope because he would have been murdered.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Correct. Quite possible.
Just saying. I don't think she is the lycanthrope.
That's a good theory.
Yeah.
Also
Man came to town. Yeah, man. There's a what now?
The only body missing too.
Yeah, she's not necessarily dead. We don't know that. We didn't find her. So like, we don't know if they caught her, or if maybe Hunter Man will have found her. I mean, we don't actually know if she's dead or was mauled to death by werewolves. And if she was recently turned into a werewolf after when we found her, she'd be more animalistic still, theoretically. So she would be mauling people pretty indiscriminately at that point,
Running
right?
around in circles.
Potentially.
We need a focus. We need a pattern or something. We need something to identify a streak, or else this is completely random and there's nothing we can do about it.
I don't think it's completely random.
No.
I'm just saying it all kind of comes back to this festival. So shit might be popping off at this festival. I don't know.
Perhaps.
Do you have any input?
No. No input.
Sorry. No, not really.
Perhaps we go talk
Just spitballing at this point.
Perhaps we talk to Sog, see if there's anybody who had beef with Xylith.
Mayor's wife.
Other than the mayor's wife, we didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know about her. I'm sure she's been around for more than a year, though.
I don't think there's any reason for the mayor's wife to kill Gilly either. Well, anyways, let's go to the town
Maybe
hall.
Oswald. We don't know about Oswald.
Oswald.
I'm just saying it all comes kind of back to his.
Oswald is the
and
oddball.
Also, the dwarfs are sus. I'm just saying. That man had a fight with a man. That one dwarf had a fight with man, and that man ended up dead.
Yeah, but what about Xylith? Xylith was...
I remember that. He's weird. I mean, the lady at the store had some real microaggressions against the dwarfs, but, like, I don't think it's her. So
we never found out if Xylith actually gave the order of locks. I know she wasn't paid yet, but...
Yeah.
See,
I was just playing the paranoia because I almost died in a fire. But it also stands they had lock. I don't know. Somebody locked.
If Xylith had made the locks but haven't been paid yet, it would make sense for the dwarves to kill her because
I don't think she had been paid yet.
No, she hadn't been paid. She was still making the locks, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know if the locks are finished though. Gilly, he's completely random. Best case I have for Gilly. I don't know about
Gilly was supposed to be a part of this festival thing because he is one of the only farmers in the area, from what I can tell. He's like the closest farmer because he has some good land up in the middle of nowhere.
I personally believe Oswald was a defensive kill. I don't think Oswald was supposed to die. I think he saw something he was supposed to.
Also, Oswald is the one who deals with the estates of when people die. So he's the one who kind of sells shit off for profit, for fun and profit.
You know what?
I don't know what else he does.
You know what? Unless he was the bait.
I mean, he also could have just been bait. It seemed like a really targeted bait right there.
Epiphany.
I don't know.
Perhaps they used him. They killed him to get us to go to the barn. Because we immediately started looking around the barn.
Yeah, to kill us. But it didn't work, so, like, here we are. So why do they care if we find it? Like, why are they killing all these people then? There has to be, like, an end game. And we just don't know. We just don't see.
That means some great elemental being or something. I don't know. Let's go inside.
I don't know. I just need more information. Maybe we can talk to...
Sean's smiling on the other side of the camera.
Sean is eating, from what I can tell.
I am eating, but I'm still smiling on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've
Like-
let you guys move to the town hall, but if you don't want to go to the town hall, you can go somewhere else.
I want to go check on Vagabond Man, but we can
Did
go to
you
town hall.
still want to try to get a map?
I don't need a map right now. We're not exactly leaving the area too much
Well,
right now.
We're going past Dieter's documents first. Let's go to Dieter's first, and then go to the town hall because Dieter's is on the way to town hall. It's like right at the intersection.
Okay.
So we're gonna go to
Just one
Dieter's
map.
first.
Okay. So,
I'm a traveler. I want maps.
So, you guys move your way down the road. The wind picking up a little bit, reminding you just how cold it is outside. We're talking in the teens of temperature-wise as you guys huddle your cloaks about you, moving down the street, face into the wind as you stomp your feet, entering into Dieter's documents. Now, this is a small building. As you walk inside, there's maybe 5 or 6 feet between you and the door. It's about 10 feet wide. On this side of the counter. On the back side of the counter, there's maybe another 3 or 4 feet, and then there's a door leading into the back of the building. And as you guys enter, you hear the ding, 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 tinkle of a bell sort of ring. And from the back of the establishment, you hear a sort of a gruff kind of voice. "I'll be right there." And then you hear the heavy stomp of boots as a sizable man in size, not height, sort of fits his way through the door, and he sort of looks at you guys. He has suspenders. He has a white, a white top, a white shirt on with brown trousers. Looks like he's been, his hands are ink stained, so it looks like he does obviously a lot of writing or ink or whatever. You can see that there are ink wells behind the counter where he's at right there, where he apparently has done some work. And he cracks his knuckles, looks you up and down and says, "Can I help you? Welcome to Dieter's Documents, the only place in town where you can get everything documented that you need."
Oh, hey, I was wondering if you had a map of the area.
A map of the area, say?
Yeah,
This is a
Galena said you might have one.
I may or I may not have maps for sale, but I myself am not a cartographer, so I cannot vouch for the veracity of said documents.
I know something about map making, so I can usually figure it out.
So, what sort of area are you looking for? Basically, I've got mostly what you've got between here and Draft. Not much else than that, because that's not what most people need. They need this area for land, etc. Maybe down the hills toward Draft, a little bit toward the Iron Boot Mine. Maybe, excuse me. Maybe. But other than that, not too much.
You okay there? I heard there's a real nasty airborne virus going around.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's a lack of whiskey.
Yeah, if you've got one of the area and then one of between the larger between here and Draft, that would work. Whichever one of those you got.
So for each map, I need you to roll a percentile dice for me, because you're going to tell me whether or not he has what you need.
Percentile.
Yes.
How do I do that in
Die 100.
Where do I get a die 100 from? Oh god.
Would you like
one second.
I can roll it for you if you like.
So
roll
2d10. Roll 2d10. The first one is the tens place. The second one is the ones place.
You can do that.
That would work, I suppose.
Or if you click on one of the dice at the bottom of the chat, and then you change the number to a 100, it'll work that way too.
Oh,
yeah, it works.
maybe.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can do that.
Either way you want to do it, doesn't matter. Just click any of them.
D10.
Yep, and just make it the 10 100.
What? See that work?
That was
14.
Well, that was a D100.
Said it was a D100.
Yeah,
like
that's
it.
14.
Yep.
I got a 14.
Hang on, let me check. I want to check that just because I want to check.
I added an extra 0 next to the 10, so it'd be really weird.
Yep, it is a 1D114. Wow, that's crazy, because I gave you a 25% chance that he would have the map that you want. So the first map that you wanted, he does possess something along those lines. And it'll be 25 gold for it.
Ooh, I don't have 25 gold.
Ooh, then I don't have your map.
Ooh, that's too bad. But
all right,
you know
everybody,
what?
compile gold. What do we have total?
No, it's
Got 14 and some silver.
Oh, if you wait till Oswald pays you, you can each get, well, you get 5 gold for that.
Well,
I'll just
Oswald
talk
was
to the
just
mayor
murdered.
later about my payment for helping with his dumbness. Maybe I can just make my own map if we hang out here long enough. Taken long enough. I am proficient in cartography.
Okay, now roll another percentile dice.
Okay.
This one, he has a 30% chance to have the bigger map of the area.
Which will probably be just as much money. D100?
Ooh, he does not
Not
have
as
the bigger
good.
map. He's got the narrow
Oh, that's too
range.
bad. I will keep that in mind and come back, because the man who was supposed to pay me has not paid me. So, thank you for letting me know you have this map.
Would you like me to reserve it for you, my lady?
Yeah, you can hold it for like a day or two, and...
A day or two it is. After that,
yeah.
First come, first serve.
Makes sense. That's fair to me.
Do any of you need a will? I have a very good sale going on wills, only 5 silver pieces per... You can never go wrong with the will, I tell you.
Yeah.
While I do not even dare impose on your uncanny sense of economics, I believe I'll pass on that.
Yeah. I don't own a lot. Hey guys, we're gonna have a verbal will. You can just have my shit if I die. I don't have anything of value on my person. You can just have it. I don't have family who would come and claim it that I know of. So, like, and even if they did, again, it's not worth a lot of money. There we go. We have a verbal agreement. It doesn't usually hold up in court, but there also shouldn't be anyone to contest it.
Yes.
Just cool. I'm just cool if you want
Whoever
my
the
stuff.
new Richter ends up being, they'll be the ones to be divvying up your will.
Yeah. I mean, they also don't even have to know I owned anything at that point.
This is true.
Also, I don't live in this. This is not a town I live in. Why would the Richter get my thing?
Well,
I don't pay taxes here.
Well, if this is where you die, somebody may end up doing the court right here.
Yeah, just you guys just take my stuff and just say I didn't have it. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay.
Anyway, let's go.
Okay. So
We can go to the records place now.
All right. So you guys find yourself at the town hall.
Mm-hmm.
And who are we looking for?
Vicky?
Vicky.
Yeah, Vicky.
I wrote her name down. Yes, she is Vicky at records. You said she was in the town hall.
Okay.
It was in that rambling that the lady at the shopkeeper said. I know, I wrote it down.
So arriving at the town hall, it's one of the larger establishments in town because obviously that's where they hold town meetings when the town council gets together and everybody sort of gathers. So this is a single-story building. It's very, very wide, very long, and as you enter inside, you can see that there's almost sort of like a modern-day courtroom with the high benches set up, and there's like this high raised dais area where there's about 6 seats set on this raised dais, and there's several rows and rows of wooden pews. So I guess actually be more like a church, if you will, but church, court, kind of a similar setup with the raised dais and chairs and stuff like that. And there's a railing that splits right down the middle aisle. So there's a middle aisle, and then there's a railing that's split in half, off to the right and off to the left. So to prevent anybody from the front from getting all the way up to where the people holding the session are seated, right? So anyway, as you guys sort of enter, you're greeted by a young woman in her maybe early to mid 30s. She has this like red hair that comes right about to her shoulders, but she has it sort of in a tail. Just wearing normal clothes, you know,
Cool.
blouse with trousers, and she sort of greets you as you come in, and she's um, welcome to Christchurch Town Hall. The mayor is not taking anybody right now, but if you would
That's
like to
fine.
leave your names, I'm quite sure that I could get you an appointment probably sometime by the end of the week. Other than that, if there's any other business you wish to discuss, my name is Vicky Arneson. I am the proprietor of the town hall. How may I help you?
I actually wanted to talk to you. Isn't that
She sort
helpful?
of gets a
I don't even
surprised look on her
mean.
face, like, me?
Yeah.
Why so ever would
Yeah.
you want to be talking to me?
Galina's Good said that you were in charge of the town records, and I just
Oh, yes,
really
yes, of
wanted to
course.
know
Yes.
some information about who owned that barn at
Oh,
the end of the road that's
that's
burned down.
yes, yes. Those records are private and they are
Hmm.
not for public consumption. You would have to get the Richter to sign off.
Oh, the Richter's dead. So I don't know what you want me to do about that.
Oh well, then I see we have sort of a dilemma here.
Yeah.
Maybe the mayor, if you
And
speak
the
with the
mayor's
mayor.
not taking anything for a week.
Well, this is true. So if you can come back in a
Even though
week,
it's like in relation to the murders that have been happening.
give me a persuasion.
I'll try. I'll do my best.
She sort of
I'm not.
She gives you this kind of yes, but really, if I were to do that, then I could go to jail, and I can't. I don't want to go to jail. Those records really are private, and I'm sure you can understand how my hands are kind of tied in this matter.
I understand that your hands are tied here. I'm not going to ask you to provide the private information. Instead, I'll ask you. I got a couple other questions then. Things that aren't exactly private, and are more general things. When one's buying property here, can one buy property with investing, or does it, or must be it in gold coin?
Typically, we have to have a letter of credit from an established notary or cash, to be honest.
All right.
Okay.
And
Cash or check is what I just.
how much land is available for sale in this area?
Oh, this is very fertile land, even though it tends to be a bit rocky,
Mm-hmm.
because we're actually closer to the mountains and some other places and stuff where the hills start. It tends to get a little bit rocky, but as you move away from the hills and head more toward the west, the land actually tends to get very fertile. Of course, it's not now in the middle of winter, but during springtime we have great planting. In the fall we have great harvests. So yeah, there's plenty of land available. What are you wishing to purchase? I'm sure we could draw up and get Dieter over here to draw up some documents and stuff for us.
No, we were
No,
just
we're not even.
wondering.
None of us are even close to ever being able to afford a property of ourselves. But
Oh,
it
that's
ties
too bad.
into what we're looking into. Yes.
Oh, I see. Well, that's too bad. Well, if you ever wish to, we are always looking to get people willing to work the land, and I'm sure that we could probably come to some equitable arrangement.
Come on,
Yeah.
folks. What other questions can we ask this person that helps us but doesn't ask for private information at the same time?
Okay. I don't. It's weird.
You know what?
Does anybody?
When was it? The wolf attacks were what, a year or so ago?
Yeah, roughly, give or take.
Can I get? Is it possible we can get the files from about a year or so ago? A list of the dead from when the last set of attacks came over this town, or is that also considered private?
No, those are public records. I mean, the poor girl who died. What you?
I thought
know,
there was a series of murders. A series of kills from a series of people that died from the wolves, not just the one girl.
No, the one that you know about a year ago died from the wolves. But recently, there have been other than people being killed, right? There have been
Mm-hmm.
animals been killed.
Yeah.
Which is, there's some of the farmers complaining about their livestock getting killed. Sog had one of her horses killed. And then
I was looking for the last time the wolf last.
Yeah, but I think she's the only one who died.
Oh,
yeah,
my bad.
The
Okay.
young daughter was the only one that died from the wolf attack.
Okay, never
Mother
mind.
died
Ignore I asked for that then.
The mother
My
died
bad.
when she got sick after the daughter died, right? So whether they're related or not, you don't know. But she didn't die from the wolf attack, but she died much later from some illness or whatever, just leaving George Gilly and his daughter Erin.
Alrighty. In that case, how long would it take to set up an appointment to look at the information we requested first?
Oh, I can speak. I can speak with the mayor. We could get you. I will do this. I will tell them that is in relation to the investigation, and I am sure that he will be able to make time in his busy schedule to get you in well before a week. So maybe even perhaps as late as today or tomorrow.
That'd be nice.
That would be greatly appreciated. Yes.
I will do what I can for you then. Is there anything else that I can do for you?
What are the local laws on investigations, search warrants, things of that matter? Would the mayor be able to authorize?
We don't have a Richter here that can really interpret some of these laws.
Oh yeah, huh?
So as far as I know, as long as you're doing it because of the investigation, I would think that the mayor would give you at least some latitude to do your jobs.
All right. If we ever come across somebody we have to look into a bit closer, then we'll come by and perhaps get documentation from you or the mayor directly. In that case, just so it's hopefully there's no struggle.
Okay.
We can just do our jobs, or at least the expansiveness of our job.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, anything else?
No.
Not for mine.
So as you guys are sort of standing there and she's kind of saying the goodbyes, you hear this big shout come from the back of the building. Vicky, bring me my smoking jacket. I'll be right there, Mr. Mayor. And she sort of rolls her eyes a little bit and does a little half curtsy. And you have a
Why does he need a specific jacket for smoke?
Jacket.
What does that even mean?
No, I'm pretty sure that Vicky just met with a wave of what the fuck. Everybody has their quirks.
Quirk? Don't know.
So, as she departs, leaving you guys at the entry to the town hall.
Well,
rude.
Second breakfast time, or?
No, it's literally only been
lunch,
like an hour.
Second lunchtime. Nah.
It's literally only been an hour.
Getting close to 2 o'clock or so.
Does anybody have at the Obsidian Mace?
The what?
The
Obsidian Mace. I have no idea.
The Obsidian Mace is the blacksmith.
I remember us wanting to go there earlier, but I forgot what it was they wanted us for.
I only know that the dude at the church mentioned that there's a woman who works there, I guess? A human woman?
Yeah, you've actually seen, well, you've seen her.
Yeah, we've seen her around.
Well, when you were first looking at George Gilly's body, you saw that she was standing there, and she's a rather tall, thick woman with thick, curly black hair. And she had a dirty smock on, and her face was kind of covered in soot, and her hands were covered in soot and ash. And she was gripping her hammer like she wanted to beat somebody over the head, because obviously she was affected by this individual's death.
I think we should pay a visit to the Mace and speak to this woman.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't gone there anyway, so we can go. Maybe she'll have some silver stuff. Then we can... Maybe. You don't know.
You never
She's a blacksmith.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Let's go. We're wandering down the road. Where's my... Got my token. I moved it. Success.
Okay. So as you guys start to come up to the obsidian mace, you can see that it. Let me move the other guys here for you since they're not here to move themselves. You hear the clanging of metal on metal as the smoke rises pretty thickly coming out of the forge, which exhausts through the roof of the blacksmithy. You move up along the side, and you can see a big sign hanging out front, and there's literally exactly what it says. It's just a black mace gripped by a silver mailed hand.
Cool.
The doors themselves are open wide, and inside you can see, hunched over a forge, beating down on some metal. Looks like she's shaping some kind of maybe a horseshoe or something like that, as she plunges it into the fire, and she pulls it out, and she dang, 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 slamming on it, completely oblivious to you guys arriving until your shadow kind of cast over, and she sort of looks up, and you can see she has these sort of goggles on her face that are kind of half covered in soot, and there's sweat pouring down her body, even though it's freezing outside. Right where she's at, underneath the forge and stuff, it's obviously very hot. She sort of stops, takes the whatever she's working on and plunges it into water, takes off leather gloves and throws it down and pulls the goggles up off of her face, looks at you, and she goes, "Aye? Can I do for you?"
So we're looking into the murders here in town, and
"Aye, you damn sure better find the bastard too before I find him. I'm gonna rip his head off. I'll piss down his neck."
I take it you and Gilly were good friends then.
Aye, we were good friends. Me and his wife were better friends. So, what do you want?
Well, I was hoping you could possibly enlighten us on some questions here.
Aye.
I'll
answer what I can.
Do you know about anybody besides the recent fight at the Gorgeous Dwarf that Gilly was not on good terms with?
Yeah. He gave up being mayor. He wanted to be a farmer. Took his family out to be farming after his wife died. Him and Aaron was making a go of it, but they was good folk. True and true good folk. They deserved to be cut down like that, like a coward he was.
What about Xylith? Was there anyone that had beef with her?
That old woman? Eh? I know she was petrified of the town, to be sure. She was getting ready to leave. Her and Henriette used to argue day in, day out about leaving, but eventually she won. Matter of fact, I'm thinking this Star Day, whenever the wagon train come up from Traff with the supplies, she was going to be on it to go home back to Traff.
So Xylith was working on a order for a large number of quality locks for the Vergadane Church.
I fashioned the metal for him. She put the pieces together.
Do you know if that order was ever finished?
For sure, I think they're in the church.
And Oswald, aside from us, was there anyone in this town that did not like the man that came with us? The well-dressed one.
Oswald.
Yeah, my Richter man.
The pompous idiot that came with us.
Yeah.
He really made our investigation very difficult.
Well, as most of the politicos do, you know, but I didn't know him at all, so I cannot know who may or may not have known him.
Alright.
Cool.
And any other questions from anybody else?
No, I don't think I have any.
Oscar, would you like to be a great help to us in this investigation?
How might I be doing that, your priestliness?
If we could borrow your forge for a while. We need to forge some items that is going to help us greatly to get to the bottom of all this.
So you want me to give up my livelihood so you can use it to make what you're
I
needing?
mean,
I'd be happy to do it for you, wishing to pay me for my livelihood.
can I ask how long do you think it would take him to forge some things that we need? Because I don't know how much time we have left between whatever they're doing.
Oh, we're forging again? I forgot.
You wanted to forge some. Didn't you say you want to do some silver arrowheads or something like that, or silver tip stuff?
Yeah, some silver tip stuff, or just maybe get one more arrow, or
yeah, I'd have to go back and double check what they actually say about crafting items and stuff like that. But it's usually a few days of forge time required to manufacture. You can do X number of, I think it's X number of gold pieces of stuff per day or something like that. But it's like a full day's work.
I believe the magical number was 20, by the way. Don't hold me to that.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. If one of you guys want to peel back and kind of go look that up. But, yeah, she's willing to, if you're willing to pay gold per day or however long it takes you to take her away from her craft.
Well, we need to do silver work. Are you experienced with silver work?
I work with all sorts of metals. I work steel, copper, silver sometimes. Not so much silver because it's a softer metal, but I can do stuff. You just tell me what you're wishing to do, and I can make it for you, given the time and the money.
Mick, does she need any special skills of craft for the alchemical silvers we need to deal with any possible dangers, or could she do it herself?
Yeah, there's nothing really special when you're talking about, wanting to do that kind of forge work. It's just a matter of cost and materials, right? If you got the materials, then you can do what you need to do as long as you have the forge available. In this case, you have a forge available, but it's going to be a cost.
Well, how about this? I can offer after the investigation concludes, I can offer her lost time with my own labor.
There's more. I don't know, rusting the internet. How long?
You hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, we hear you. We're all thinking, I think.
Yeah, I'm actually looking something over really quick. So, let's see. For everyday downtime, you can craft one or more items with a total market value not exceeding 5 gold pieces. So, if you were to make arrows, arrows are like, I think it's 10 is 2 gold pieces or something like that. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but whatever. So if you were looking to make arrows, you could make 5 gold pieces worth of arrows in a day. And that would be cool. If you wanted to do a whole sword,
Player's Handbook.
Yeah, it's under crafting for the Player's Handbook, under adventuring, and then downtime activities, and then it's under crafting. So
Page 148.
yeah. So if you wanted to do that, then she would be willing to do that. Yes, if you wanted to give up your time to work for her, then yeah, she thinks we can make an equitable deal. But now you just have to figure out how much material you have and the time, right? So basically, I'm going to say you're going to need 5 gold pieces worth of silver in order to melt down that silver to make silver-tipped arrows or whatever type of weapons you want. If you want to make a sword, you would have to make something, or if you want to make a weapon, you would have to make something that's normally less than 5 gold pieces.
Okay, so the other day when we talked about this, you said you need to melt half the same value in coins of the item cost.
Yeah. That's what it was. So
Yeah. So
so you'd have
then
to melt,
add one.
Yeah, 2.5 gold. You would have to melt down.
Okay. Well, I'm willing to get exchange 2.5 gold for 5 arrows. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I was going to say. So I just want to make sure we look up what's the cost of arrows. I don't have my player's handbook open, so if somebody has the
arrows.
Cost?
Short. Why is it not on the webpage? I need the ammunition. Crossbow, dart. No. It's on the next page.
By the way, those of you that are still in chat, if you haven't already followed us, click the button, please. We're trying to get to 50. Get to 50, we can start doing things with chat folks and VIP stuff and icons.
And if you know how much arrows cost, that would be great, because I can't find it.
Know how much arrows cost.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I found darts. I don't know why I can't see arrows on the page.
It doesn't have like a quiver or anything like that, so. That's good.
Maybe that's it. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's over on you. A quiver cost 1 gold. Though that's just a quiver. It doesn't say how many arrows.
Right. Simple range.
Oh, here we go. I found it.
Hey.
20 arrows cost 1 gold.
All right. There you go. So you can actually, make almost 100 arrows if you had that much, right? So let's just say that it's 1 gold for 20 arrows?
Yep.
All right, so let's just say with the gold you make, you can make 40 arrows with the gold you're willing to, or the silver you're willing to give up. You can make 40 arrows if you have 40 arrows with which to dip. If you don't have 40 arrows, you have to go get the arrows to dip the arrows, because this is only for the silver piece. This doesn't include making the actual arrow itself.
Do 20 bolts.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20.
I have darts. Could we silver my darts? Would that make sense?
Yeah, that actually might be better.
Well, he has bolts.
Who
has
arrows.
the crossbow?
I have the crossbow, and I have 20 bolts.
Okay,
so 20 bolts, and
we could do that.
Silver bolt.
Yeah, and don't we technically have one,
we have one extra
silver
too.
one, because I already have the one with the silver arrowhead we had?
Yep, so I technically have 21 bolts. One of them is silver, the other 20 are not, but we can easily silver them.
Because we made it using the 1 silver arrowhead we got from the farm.
Gotcha.
That I found in the box.
Right.
Actually,
that we were definitely going to give back to the girl if she is still alive. But we are currently holding on to it in case we need to stab a werewolf. The end.
Yeah, we actually broke one of his existing arrows and made it. So he just have 20.
So
that's right.
So it's 19 arrows, 19 bolts I have to offer. So yeah, so if we're just all just exchanging bolt heads, and I'll go and pass over however many bolts you need.
Just so you know.
Yeah, that would work.
Just so you know, I'm going to go with what we're saying here because it's crafting. But I didn't realize that, and I just saw this. They actually have in the player's handbook that says you can silver a single weapon or 10 pieces of ammunition for 100 gold pieces.
Yeah, but I think they're including the cost of labor.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's the this represents not only the cost of the silver, but the time and expertise needed to silver the weapon, make it less effective. So even but we're going to go with what we've got right now, and then I'll just have to review that a little more in detail just to see if I may have to change that in the future if that ever comes up again. So
most people aren't taking down lycanthropes or other silver weakening creatures at level 1, so
it's okay.
Yeah.
They expect you to have that much gold by that time.
Sure they do.
Yeah.
Sure they do. That's fine. You can go out and rob people. That's fine. You can borrow money.
Literally all of us but maybe Corvus are religious.
Yes, borrow money.
So I don't think any of us are going out and stealing this.
Fine. All right, so we have
all religions are good.
We've decided that we're going to spend some time and we are going to melt down some silver, and we're going to take 20 bolts.
Mick's going to melt down some silver.
Wait.
I have shit I want to do. I have shit I want to do. I'm
Okay.
gonna be like, okay,
So,
you want to use the forge? That's cool.
all right.
Cool with
So,
that.
Amic,
If you want to go talk,
you and Nalo are gonna stay back and forge the items.
Nalo, you know how to craft things?
No,
Well,
Amic's
he can be my helper though.
Okay.
Yeah,
She's got
I know.
the items.
I know.
Sure.
I would like to say that I know basics, and I can provide assistance around the forge, but I'm not the actual forger myself. That would be Amic or the woman in charge. I forgot her name already.
Seriously.
Yep.
Killing me, dude. You're gonna have to go back and watch the stream just so you can figure out what her name is. I'm just saying.
I'll just wait for it to come up again later.
Okay.
Mhm.
Millicent
But yeah,
Schmidt.
really.
Millie Schmidt.
Millicent Schmidt.
She's literally named Smith.
Schmidt. SCHMID. Millicent.
Yeah, which is Smith.
Yeah.
A smithy in.
Imagine that. Imagine
Yeah.
that. DM did
I'm
homework.
just saying.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
But
So you two are kind of hanging back.
Oh wait, before we go,
Albert and
I want
Corvus
to
are just
before
gonna
I
go back
go
and
because I'm
drink
gonna
beer.
leave.
They're just going
I'm
back.
not going back.
They are going to go back.
I'm not doing that. I have stuff to
I
do.
didn't say you. I said.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
said
the other two.
Corvus.
Oh, the ones who aren't here.
Yes. Corvus and Halbert are going to go hang out and drink beer.
No, I'm staying at the forge. How about Amic?
Yeah.
You're staying at the forge.
I do want to ask her a question
Okay.
before I leave.
Okay.
Hey, Millicent, how would you do you get along with the dwarf men around here, or the dwarf people around here? Would you say? Have you met them? Have you talked to them?
Well, Stonebrow, he's a bit of a pain in my ass, but most of the dwarves that work the mines are good. Stonebrow, he's the one what runs he's the one what runs the mining operation from here in town. Ironboot runs it up at the mine itself. Ironboot's an okay guy. Stonebrow's a bit of a pain, but apparently those two are thick as thieves. So you get one, you get the other.
Okay. Writing down names. Got
Yeah, so Ironboot is the name of the mine, and so apparently Ironboot, whoever he is, he's the owner of the mine or runs the mine. Stonebrow, he runs sort of the operations for Christchurch Minerals. So he's the one that's sort of in charge of the shipping and stuff like that, or like the mine manager, if you will. So he's probably in charge of Ironboot, but Ironboot is the one that's like the foreman of the mine, if you will.
Okay. Dwarves. Probably. They're on my list. It's fine. Anyway, cool. I just wanted to know.
Okay.
It's important.
Alright. If it's important to you, it's important to me.
I appreciate
Just
that.
kidding. Is there anything else I can do for you?
I'll just take I'll just get a silver chain and wrap it around my knuckles. Pop, pop.
I like it.
You know, it'll be fine.
Alright. So what else are we doing?
Is that actually too difficult to grab a band and silver and get would that be too much? Like make some type of brass knuckles or something that we can
probably It'd probably be too much. It's okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot more than what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that'd be more difficult, just silvering existing arrowheads.
Hey, when is this is this festival
it starts
taking place all day?
No,
when does it start?
Tonight when the sun goes down, when the moon starts to rise, that's when the festival kicks off.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I'm likely to be roving the streets alone when the full moon is about. That'll be fun.
Yeah, whenever the moon hits its zenith, that's when the height of the festival goes on. So.
Oh, that's cool. Oh God, I had something I wanted to do and I've forgotten.
Well, those two are staying there. You tell me where you want to go or what you want to do.
What do I want to do for the rest of the day?
It's going to take you about 5 hours, Emic, to do what you need to do.
I think I'm gonna go.
Did you hear my previous question I asked?
About doing 10 arrows?
And
Because I can leave you some darts.
You per darts instead of doing 20 arrows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I agreed to that. I said 2 arrows and 10 arrows and 2 darts would be fine.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
I leave 2 darts.
Okay. All right.
And then
like I said, it's going to take you about 5 hours to do what you need to do. So.
Sure. So we're going to be here for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. Yeah. That's going to take the rest of the day for you guys. So. Now it's.
I think I'm gonna.
Take off my breastplate and shit before I start doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably gonna get real hot in there. You don't want to be doing that in heavy armor.
Yep.
I think I'm going to go and walk by the Chapel of Vergadane. I just want to like scout it out, see if there's anything suspicious. Like, what's the setup looking like? I didn't really look at it too hard the last time I was there. I was much busier talking to Dwarf Man. I want to keep my distance and like look kind of uninterested and be like I'm wandering around.
Okay.
Hey,
I want to be as inconspicuous as humanly possible.
Real quick.
And just be like,
sorry.
Like, I don't want to get as close as I got last time because he like immediately walked up to me and was like, "Why are you snooping in my shirt?"
Really quick question. How much gold did it cost me to get the silver that I needed?
It's gonna be basically 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Sean, quick question before you go any further with them. The Moon Touch longsword. Did it actually cast a spell, or did it just shed light and shed light around me?
It's very Sting.
Okay.
It does it all the time.
Light, pretty much.
What's that? Yeah. So it's sort of a permanent sort of light that goes on.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's not letting me.
Yeah, I basically just want to walk down the street and past the chapel over very slowly.
Okay.
Just want to chill, like look around, look kind of excited for the festival. You know. The usual. That seems like a...
So as you get closer and you sort of keep yourself at a distance, you see that the chapel itself is lit up in sort of purples and golds, the colors of Vergadane. There are tables lining all over the place they're stacking with foods and pastries and drinks, all other kind of stuff. The trees themselves are decorated similarly. You see that there are numerous tiki torches sort of stuck in the ground all over the place. There's children running around everywhere, mostly dwarven, but some human as well. The folk that you see are the vast majority are dwarf, but there are intermixed with some humans that you've seen in town before, sort of walking around and chatting and laughing and stuff like that. It seems like, at least in this area, people have become very they're not really caring about everything that's been going on in town recently. So there's definitely a festive atmosphere going on here, despite all the deaths that are going on. You don't see anything like interesting, but go ahead and give me a perception check.
Cool. I'll have a good perception check.
Yeah. So looking, you don't see anything that really catches your eye.
Cool.
You don't even see Father Daragor, who is the dwarven priest in charge of the temple.
Does it look like that there's festivities that will take place inside the temple, or is this all just out in the lawn?
The doors themselves are open, but it looks like there's stuff that's going on inside as well, but you can't really see from where you're at what decorations may be inside, but it looks like it's probably a mix of both. Maybe some kind of a service, maybe a big festival with some kinds of service, or some kind of service followed by the festivities outside, you know what I mean? So it's like a big church extravaganza after the main right? So it's kind of what the setup looks like.
Cool. I'll be back for that. I think I want to go talk to a man who lives in a barn. And she said he might be at the old Kirk Church.
Yes.
Is that where she said he would be?
That is correct.
I think so.
That's where
I want to go hang out with him for a little.
Okay.
Have questions.
Work your way across the map.
Mm-hmm.
Pass Hoxaris's elixirs.
Mm-hmm. And I'm keeping an eye out for anyone following while I do this.
Oh, give me
So I had to roll it.
check. You didn't say that.
Well, now I've decided to do that as I was walking. To keep an eye out. And I don't actually. Yeah, once again, I do not see things, which is fine.
Okay. So you sort of take the roads through town, passing through some of the other establishments, which you really didn't notice a lot your first couple of days in town because things have been going so fast and whatnot. But you pass by.
People have been murdered.
So you pass by Hoxaris's elixirs, and you pass by Erwin's leather shop, etc. So you sort of pass those by on your way to Old Kirk. As you come toward the church, you see it's obviously more quiet over here. The doors themselves are open, and you can see that somebody is inside sweeping out the church. But you recognize it's not Schulman Kuhn. Schulman Kuhn is the high priest of the Old Kirk Church here in town. But it's as you get closer, you realize that it looks like it's probably this elf fellow that you've been trying to come talk to. As you sort of approach, he sort of looks up your way and he calls in, Schulman Kuhn, we have news of this.
No.
And
You wouldn't happen to be Calcinian, would you?
he sort of looks at you, squints his eyes, and might know you.
No. I was directed to you by Saag at the Gorgeous Dwarf.
Right. Not many orcs do I like, but
she's great.
She's a good gives me free although she
that
doesn't
is
have
very
much wine, so I'm hoping that I get the business of the wine going. Maybe I'll be able to strike a deal with her, So
that would be very nice, yeah. I was wondering. You last night came to her and said you were the one who found Oswald in the barn.
I did nothing to do with that poor man's.
I know. I just had some questions because I heard that you had been remaining in the barn, as like a shelter because it's very cold. I get that. I just had some questions of like, when did you leave the barn last? Like, do you know? I'm looking at time frames of when this could have happened.
5 minutes after I saw the body, and I went and told Stock.
Yeah. So before you saw the body, you'd been around town, I assume, or?
Yeah. No, I was sleeping.
You were sleeping.
I was sleeping, and I heard this nasty roar, and I heard this scream, and I crouched. I crept down and saw his body laying there, and I ran as fast as I could to tell somebody, and the only one that I knew was Sock.
She is definitely not to be messed with, so I understand. Interesting. So you'd been dead asleep before the whole thing happened.
Oh, it's nice.
And heard a
It's
roar.
usually warmer up in the loft than it is downstairs where the animals used to live.
That do make sense. You don't happen to know who owned that barn, do you?
No, it's been empty as far as I've been in town. It's been only a couple of weeks, but I have
Why
no
does no
idea.
one know who owns this barn? I swear to God.
Oh, I'm sure somebody in town knows who owns the barn. Just go ask the mayor.
It's just I need an appointment. Yeah, I just need an appointment and can't get one for a week. It's fine.
Don't bother
You know how bureaucracy goes.
Don't bother talking to him. He's an egg.
Yeah, I'm getting that kind of vibe.
All I asked him for was a little bit of credit to buy me some land, but no. Now I gotta wait for my family to send me a letter of credit, blah, 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 blah.
It does make sense. Yeah. Let me think. Oh, man. You slept up in the loft, right? You said?
I did.
And the door up there,
Right.
like what? Yeah, was it locked?
Oh, yeah, it's got, had a little bar across it, and then it had a little padlock on it. Kind of an old thing. Probably could have picked it if I wanted to, but didn't want to.
I mean, what?
Went up and down the
You-
ladder.
Yeah, and I mean, you would have probably fallen out, like, at some point, if you're just hanging out by the thing.
I suppose if I was drunk.
Can I roll an insight check for this conversation?
Sure.
I want to know if this man's...
It seems like he's on the up and up. I mean, he
I'm
seems
sure.
like a little
With a
off.
12?
He's a little off-put, it looks like, maybe. But that could just be because he doesn't know who you are. You're sort of up on him, asking questions. And suddenly you hear from behind him, may I help you?
Oh,
Have you come to pray or receive services from the church?
No, I was actually here to speak to this lovely gentleman here who's been more than helpful in like helping me with a timeline for what I've been, investigating. He's been great. Kellysan? Yes, please. He's been. I was making sure I was saying it.
Calcian.
Yeah, he's been Calcian.
Calcian is my charge. If you have any interest or concern with him, you can ask me.
No, I didn't have any.
His character, it's beyond reproach.
Well, that's very helpful. I kind of got that vibe. I just wanted to know the detail of events leading up to discovering Oswald, because I just wanted to kind of get a timeline, because I thought maybe, all Sog could tell me is that he came up, and I wanted to know if maybe he'd been out and then returned to the barn. But yeah, I just established a timeline, which is helpful. So that means that Oswald was probably very freshly deceased, which is helpful again, in knowing what was happening. Yeah, that's all I wanted to know. I just didn't have a lot of details from Sog, and I figured I'd just come to the source of the information. It's too bad about Oswald, really. He was a man, sure. But thank you guys so much for your help. I know I can be very unapproachable, and I do appreciate that you've been so forthcoming despite that.
Anything that we can do.
Not well adjusted.
Wow, thank you.
Anything that we can do.
I didn't need those ears anyway.
Dastardly murderer to justice. You know that we are here to help you in any way that the church can.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. That's all I really had for questions for you, sir.